Guys, I'm teaming up with my good friend, retired Navy SEAL Jocko for something real special. Jocko started Jocko Fuel when he found out the supplements he was buying for himself and his family were filled with heavy metals and ingredients he was unaware of. He wanted a line of supplements and consumables that had all of the good, effective ingredients and none of the bad. So we made it happen. I got set up with all of the key products, and we want to do the same for you. Jocko Go energy drinks for clean, sustainable energy. Jocko Milk Protein for 30 grams of delicious grass-fed protein, plus a full line of supplements to support mood, focus, hydration, joints, and more. Jocko Fuel supplements are scientifically formulated and made with ingredients that are clinically tested. They are better for you options with no artificial flavors or sweeteners, no added sugar, and no gray area ingredients or banned substances. It's clean fuel with health compromise. And right now, you can get 20% off when you use code Chael at jockofuel.com. Or if it's easier, just click on the link below. Volkanovski has pulled a very interesting experiment. I gotta word it like that. I don't know where this is gonna go. And I have very mixed reviews of my first reaction when it hit me. I went in a couple of different directions. All right, look, here's what happened. Volkanovski has come out and he said fighting Topuria that quick of a turnaround after his KO loss to Islam might have worked against him. Okay. Now, we were all thinking it, and we were all thinking it even before the match. We were questioning that. But there is a consistency with Volkanovski. Win, lose, or draw, and you don't see very many lose or draws, so you got to pay close attention to know that I'm right here. He always asks for a quick turnaround. Volk never turns the gun on the company. He never, at least publicly, starts asking for more money, making demands, hard placement, anything in between. He goes to press conferences. I mean, he's the star of the show. He just went out and dominated somebody that we didn't know could be dominated. And then he asks for a quick turnaround. He's very consistent. I only bring that to you because when Volk asked for a quick turnaround in the cage at Fight Island after his loss to Islam, and he talked about the mental health issues and why it bothered him, and why it was important that he got a quick turnaround. When he did that, for so many, it was the first time people heard it. Now, he had never done it in the cage before, but he was also always giving victory speeches. However, Volk did, I'm letting you know this, Volk did very consistently go to the press conference and ask that he get turned around quickly. I bring that to you because Volk went off as the favorite against Topuria, but boy, it was close. I mean, this thing was closing fast. It was plus 115 to negative 112 at DraftKings at times. I mean, it was razor thin, but Volk was officially the favorite. And that's the closest line Volk has ever had. Even when he was supposed to lose against Islam, when so many people thought, but it was 3-1, it was a huge spread. He never had anything that was this close. And I maintain one of the reasons it was close is because a lot of people thought that he was asking for a fight and he was hurrying back in there. And then you had people like myself, if I may say, that were paying attention that go, no, that's actually consistent. So what Volk has done now is he said, I won't make that mistake again. I will not rush in there again. I will wait however long it is that I have to wait to get the rematch with Topuria. Wow. Interesting. That's very interesting. First off, what would happen in that case, right? I mean, Volk's wording of that phrase, it's what's called an implied sale. Top salesman in the world will do this. A really good car salesman, you're in the booth, you look at a car, you kind of like it, and he will he will imply the sale. Hey, what color did you want that car? As though it's your car already. And that's what Volk has done, saying, hey, learn my lesson. Take a breather here, stay training, stay busy, but do this one smart. Just go ahead and wait for the rematch. He's implied that there's a rematch. Interesting. Now, let's go a step further. When it comes to Volk getting a rematch with Topuria, It's only yes or no. He's either going to get it or he is not going to get it. But doesn't it change the perception of the argument when you find out he won't do anything else in between? Now, the art of war is twofold, and people generally get one of them right, but they get them both. They don't get them both right. The art of war, you must convince your enemy that you have a weapon that he can't deal with, right? But then you must convince your enemy that you're willing to use it. Like if your enemy thinks, I know that you got this, but you're a really nice guy and you're a reasonable guy, you got to convince him you're a little crazy, right? It's one of these things. They've got to go together. And there was something extremely believable when I read this statement by Volk, because he was putting it on something. He was putting it on a past experience. I won't make that mistake again. Like, don't even bother calling me. I've proven I don't care who the opponent is. I've proven I don't care where in the world it is. I've proven I don't care what weight class it's at. Well, there's no reason that I, the viewer, should not then take Volkanovski at his word. And his words were he's not going to fight anybody until he gets the rematch with Ilia Topuria. And if I'm sitting around deciding whether or not I'm going to grant him said rematch, I feel as though it strengthens very much when I find out that he's not going to do anything else. So now all of a sudden, all of a sudden I'm a hostage. Do I want to retire Volk? No. Has anybody at this age of Volkanovski lost the number one spot and reclaimed it at this weight class? No. No, they haven't. Okay. So you don't think Volk will be champion? Well, by those numbers, I don't think he's going to be champion. Okay, great. Fair enough. What do you think Volk's ranked? If you were ranking him, you got all the power and you got these magical numbers and history in your head. What do you think he's ranked? Well, I think he's ranked number one. He's beaten absolutely everybody, and he's beaten them by a mile. Nobody's even been close, except for the guy who's now got the belt. Oh, by the way, there was one completed round, and Volk won that as well. You start to be in a very interesting spot. So what are you telling me then? You're telling me you don't think that Volk can re-win the belt because of this whole 35 years old and nobody's done it in this weight class. But you're also telling me that he's the number one contender, so you tell me he's got the right to try to fight for the belt. So you're going to retire him. You're the one with the decision. He says he's not going to do anything else. Do you believe him? He's got a weapon that nobody else can deal with. Now he's got to convince you that he's willing to use it. If he succeeds, if you're the decision maker and Volk truly convinces you, I am not going to do anything else. I don't need the money. I don't need the accomplishment. I don't need the memories. I want him. I deserved him. I earned him. I'm ranked number one. It's a very interesting spot. That's all I'm saying for you. I have no other arching point than to identify what's happening and to let you know I'm going to observe this. Like as time goes on and a week turns into a month, I'm going to observe this. And there does appear to be a very respectful 145-pound division who has not said these words. They have not come out and said, Volk should get a rematch. Nobody said that. But their actions have. Their actions have lended towards that. Max Holloway's got a mouthful of Justin Gaethje. There's nothing you can do to stop that. Brian Ortega just had a massive win over Rodriguez, but did not go after Ilia. Sean O'Malley has got the spotlight on him and pulled the reins on Topuria. It seems like a interesting position right now. And I know it doesn't lend towards going to Volk. It just doesn't, right? You gotta have the number one thing you gotta have. It's not your ranking, it's not your win-loss record. That's all in your head. That's what your managers and trainers have told you. That's completely in your head. The number one thing that you must have to get a title shot is the mandate of the masses. But it's a lot easier to get the masses than it is to get your ultra-competitive locker room. And I think the boys in the locker room are already on Volkanovski's side. I'm not ready to rule out and bring a gavel down and tell you he's wasting his time. I'm not. I think it's very interesting what Volk said. I think it's very interesting that he thinks he's next in line. Oh, and by the way, there are certain things that will cost you that championship. There are certain reasons why championships, like records, are if a guy defends it twice. And that's a record in 30 years. And while the story and narrative gets told to you all that it's ultra competitive and it's ultra hard, and unlike boxing, we put the best with the best, and therefore you don't stand tight very long. That's all well and true. But there is another piece, which is once you become the champion of the world, a lot of people want your time. You can't be as focused. Not you aren't as focused, not you lose focus. You can't. There's still 24 hours in a day. You can't change that. You're now getting asked by people you can't say no to. For example, the UFC itself. They did so much for you and they provided this opportunity, and here you are, and they're going to call and they're going to ask you to go to photo shoots, to go to soccer games where I just saw Taporia, to wear this suit, to show up at this event, to call into this radio station. There's just going to be things built into your schedule from a PR and marketing campaign standpoint. They're automatics. They go to whoever is champion. It's not just you, it's whoever is champion. Well, all of a sudden, you're not sleeping in your same bed. You're not in the same town. Which means tomorrow at 3 o'clock, you can't get to the same gym. You can't be with the same coaches. You can't be with the same training partners. Stipe Miocic set records at heavyweight. I maintain for you, it was his role as a fireman as much as anything else that helped him with that, because it set his schedule. It locked him. He's in the same bed, waking up at the same place, going to the same gym with the same coaches. It was a benefit that other guys didn't have, and I'm seeing a lot of Taporia lately. Look, everybody should get their 15 minutes. There's a reason you want to be great. You want to be great so that you can then soak it in and enjoy it. I certainly don't blame him. I don't point a finger at him. I'm just letting you know that it is very visible and it is very obvious that there's a lot of people vying for a piece of Taporia's attention, for a piece of his time. All of those things are sucks. All of those things are drains. You can want it, you can have the eye of the tiger, you can have all of those things. There are people that will look you in your eye and they will tell you, this sport is 80% mental. Bull, you know what? That is a complete lie. It is 100% physical. They'll tell you life, it's 80% mental. No, it's not. That's something that you tell a guy that wasn't blessed with the attributes or have the work ethic to go in and get the attributes. It's physical. It's all physical. They'll tell you train smarter, not harder. That is the first step to becoming a loser. You had better train harder, than find a way to train harder than that, and then try to find a way to train harder than that. Overtraining is fictional, and I'm sharing with you. These things are real things. When push comes to shove, you got your training camp versus his. This guy ran 3 miles a day, and this guy ran 7. Like, this isn't rocket science. I'm seeing a lot of Taporia. I'm seeing a lot of young man mistakes. We're only 3 weeks into it. Very unfair. Very unfair for me to cast those judgments. But I will tell you, being focused means saying no. If you are focused on something, quite literally what that means is when other opportunities come in, you say no. So you can focus on this. And that is clearly what Taporia did to get in the position that he's in. Staying there is a whole other game.